Welcome to the Blathering episode 92 of the show, live, Blathering Live. We do this every week, and I'm glad you're here. My name is Kud Knapsack, the name on the bottom of the screen, and I need to fix my headroom, my goddamn headroom. There we go, headroom, kids. It's one of the first things I learned in film production, a course and a class that I didn't finish because I started my radio career. Hey, everybody, we're hanging out. Ranger Donald's here, Laserbolt Videos here. I got some calls already lined up. How do you call? How do you make that magic happen? This show is an AM radio talk show for the modern age, which means you got a topic, you got a question, we answer. You got a super chat, you want me to answer a question I'd otherwise ignore? You put some money behind it. It's capitalism, baby. I'll answer that. But also, I'm glad you're here. You can call into this show by becoming a YouTube channel member. You can become a Patreon supporter, and then I put up the links right there and there. Oh, did I put it up in the GD Patreon? God, did I miss that again? There's a chance it's in the Discord. If you're a Patreon supporter, it's there. I think I put it up. I think I was smart enough this week. It's been one of the weeks. I've been writing to about midnight every night on some projects. Oh no, I did. God, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest human being in the planet. I'm very well produced. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get right to some calls soon. Stephen Turner is watching on Facebook. Ranger Donald says it's in there. Thank you, Ranger Donald. And you might be watching live on Twitch. You can sub over there. Prim Squirt, that's a username. I like that username. Prim Squirt says, "What's up, Pit Boss? First time chat." You know what? That's a name I haven't heard in a long time, and I love it, and I'm glad you're here. We're having fun. This show goes anywhere you want. You want to talk about, maybe sort of some lines being drawn between us and the Netanyahu regime? We can talk about that. You want to talk about that? I'm all for that. Let's do that. You want to talk about silly things? I'll give this confession to you first, then we'll get to our first call of the night. My friend Jeff May is going to be on the air. We're gonna promote some of the things we've been working on together. And by that, I mean just our love and our kinship and our friendship and other things. So Jeff's coming up here soon. I just set him up for a really awkward phone call. I have become addicted to solitaire cash. I mean, I want to own it now. I want to confess it now. No secret. All of us out there looking for a little extra cheddar, a little extra money in your pocket, right? We're all looking for that. It ain't just me. And I saw in one of those dumb articles that's probably ghost written and sponsored by Solitaire Cash, but it was here's 10 things to do to if you need a little extra money. And I was like, well, I'm going to read that article on the toilet for the next 12 minutes. And the first thing, number one, was play Solitaire Cash. And then there were some other sort of weird, maybe legit things. And I was like, Solitaire Cash, you can win money on your phone playing solitaire. I'm somewhat good at solitaire. I used to play it on the computer when I was supposed to be at work. So I signed up for it. At first, I researched it, and it's not a scam. It's just, no, it rewards money. It's real. Just maybe not as much as you think. So I was like, all right, let me do it. And you can play for free. I'm not pumping quarters into the machine here. And sure enough, I'll admit, I put $5 in. I got $12 in my bank. I'm rich. The problem is you can't cash that out because you along the way win what they call bonus money. Are you ready for this? Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. You win bonus money, but you don't really know what the bonus money is you win. And then they say, well, the fine print says, well, the bonus money's like, it's like fake money. You can use it to enter tournaments, but you can't cash that out. So really, I've only made $1.40. Really. And I'm just here to confess it because maybe you all can help me check myself and not stay up till 2 a.m. playing solitaire cash like I'm an old person at a retirement home. Dear God. Brett Amar's here. Lauren Romo's here. Jake Yakoveta's here. Real McCoy's here. Love Real McCoy. Love all of you. Chris Kiefer is here as well. All right. Let's get to our first call tonight. I'm going to bring him in here to make sure I'm all set up. Right. Before we even do that, let me tell you about this. I want to make sure you're aware of some things I got going on, including my Team Zoc shop. The link is down below. You want some Team Zoc merch, you can get it there. Hats, baseball hats. You want fleece sweatpants. You want beanies like this one I'm wearing right now. You want a coffee mug and have that for 20 minutes of coffee. It is on the page as well. All right, here you go. Brian Tiller's in chat as well. I'm bringing to the show now a guy who the word kinship just flows out of his veins and his pores. He's apparently doing dishes. Jeff May,
Yeah.
how are you?
Oh, I didn't know you could hear that. Yeah, I was so lucky that you decided to be a huckster and shill your wares when you were. I had a mouthful of crackers, and you were, and I was like, oh shoot, and I'm like hurrying up to swallow them, and then you're like, but first I got a website, and I'm like, thank God.
Yeah. You thought I was going to talk about my wares longer. I get it.
I just put down my butter knife because I'm enjoying a nice fancy dinner of crackers and butter because I'm an adult man.
Hold on here. You're a very fit man. It's because you're a boxer. You go out and you do the thing a lot. I follow you on Instagram. I see you shirtless running through the streets of LA doing the thing. I would expect you to have a healthier dinner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken, two things. One, I haven't exercised in a little over a month as I am just now recuperating from some physical maladies.
Gotcha.
But I do tend to eat relatively healthy, but sometimes there's nothing for me to eat. And I just really want some like Irish salted butter on a Ritz. Like there's something very visceral, like butter on a saltine is one of my favorite things on the planet. I don't care how lowbrow that is.
No,
like,
I like that.
Saltines are my go-to, like recovery from the flu food as well. But
we have an endless supply of saltines in our house, so I feel you.
Ken, I'm so delighted. This is the second of 3 times that we will be hanging out, either in person or virtually this week.
Yep.
You did record an episode of Nerd with Dre Alvarez that is going to drop next Thursday about the Star Wars Power of the Force 2. And a lot of toys on that.
Oh yeah, I was going to say a line of toys so long it's a 6-part docuseries podcast that we did.
I was not expecting the list to be as long as it was. And afterwards, I was just like, that was probably unnecessary to try to get through every wave that came out. But we did it. So that'll be available. But then we have this today and then tomorrow. So actually 3 days in a row. Yeah. We got to find a space for you on Mint on Card, which is my show at the toy store.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. I love this show. I go hang out at this show when I can. If I'm out in the net about, you do it the second Friday of every month. Yeah. So if you're local, like really local, Burbank, North Hollywood, Valley Village area, or you want to come up from Hollywood, highly recommend the show. You want to come out from Simi Valley, come out to the show. It starts about 7:30 on Magnolia Boulevard in a toy store. It's a comedy show in a toy store. Shop for Padme figures while you get some comedy. Shop for them first, but then watch the comedy.
It's funny. I did my best not to throw shade on any of the Netflix shows that everybody's trying to get to, but I feel like our lineup is pretty much as good. But also, we have parking, and our stuff is free, and we give stuff away. And I was like, look, no shade on the giant festival that has decided that they're going to put the name behind the big disruptor that is now giving us commercials on Netflix. But so we I think we had a good time yesterday. We're having a good time now, and we're going to have a good time tomorrow. So that's all very exciting.
Yeah, the troubling thing about your show is, I am trying to always battle my own weight and food eating habits and demons, but you have a food truck also that's usually associated, and it's the burnt to the crisp one, and I can't say no to it. And my vegan ways I've backslidden a lot on the vegan thing. I got to get back on it more, but it's so hard when it's like a Texas Roadhouse grill on a sidewalk in front of you.
The burnt to a crisp truck I really love. They have this smoked sausage sandwich that is one of my favorite things to eat on the planet. And then last time I decided to get like a pulled pork quesadilla or something, and it was also the most amazing thing. So very excited that they, I always like to trivialize it and say my silly little show in a toy store, but we've been at it since 2016, and the show has only gotten more popular. So I'm very.
I want to credit what you're doing. Not only do you and your co-producer put together just this wonderful show that is long running. You're one of the only shows, and I'm saying underline 3 times, only shows that pays its talent.
Yeah, we pay through donations. Hey, this sounds like an ad for Mint on Card. And I feel like, hey, that's great if you're in Southern California.
That's true.
Please come to it. But Ken,
Yeah, hit me.
I'm thinking of you today. I've been trying to organize the stacks and stacks of cards, baseball or otherwise, that I have let pile up in my studio. And now I don't know what to do.
Okay.
I have the most cards.
You have, these are baseball cards. These are football cards. These are golf cards. These are Superman cards.
Mostly baseball. So like if I were to do percentages, it's mostly baseball because I loved opening baseball. There's then probably Star Wars and comics.
Okay.
A lot of Star Wars cards. I'm gonna have to give you some to give away to people or something.
I love that, and we're opening up cards next week too. There's another thing you and I are going to do next week.
And as a matter of fact, Ken, I was going to text you. Dre, my co-host and the producer of the Nerd Podcast, just Venmo'd me a not inconsiderable amount of change to buy us some Star Wars cards to open.
Wow!
As a thank you.
Let's do it. Love that. Some people say my mic level is low. There's no real reason why that would be. So I'll figure that out.
Is your mic level low, or am I just the loudest person on the planet?
You might be really loud. You might. You know, I'm fine.
I'm not what the people are saying is a quiet man.
Boston boxer comic. Those things do not add up to quiet.
Yeah. Somebody referred to me with my accent on stage as sounding like the world's most confident deaf guy. And beautiful. I see it. I can see it.
So in regards to I know why. Okay, no, there is a problem. Yeah, sorry, everybody. There is a problem. It's my speed. Oh, we are definitely work bad here. Sorry, folks. Everything is disconnected. Everything is. You guys are hearing me through my.
So you laptop micing, bro?
I'm laptop micing. So this whole that is how that worked. I do not know. All right, hold on here, everybody. This is live. I'm not changing anything. Hold on.
Ken, I got nothing, bud.
Unmuted. Okay, there we go. All right, fix that. Fix the problem. Ken. Fix it on the fly. There we go. Yeah.
Ken, I'm proud of you.
All right, let's do the entire call over again, Jeff. Let's start from the top. All right, take two. No, I'm kidding.
That's good because I'm eating one of those crackers now.
Love it. As you should be. To your question, Jeffrey, about the cards, the extra cards, you mail them away. If people support you on your Patreon, you mail cards to them. That's something they should all know. And then the second thing is, I think do you have a fire pit nearby? Can you access a fire pit? Do you like burning things?
I actually leave cards on my curb. There's like a couple of father and son combos that walk around here, and I leave those out for them. I give a lot away. Sometimes I'll just donate all the non-sports stuff to Blast from the Past, and I'll just be like, "Here, if you sell these for 50 cents a piece, here's $200 over a very long period of time."
Here's what you could do: start an ASMR sports card channel.
I wouldn't dream of it.
But that's the more sports card ASMR channels they are, the more it's going to become a genre, and we can all get rich together. Let's socialize sports card ASMR.
I don't know how you have time for that.
I don't have time for it, Jeff. I don't have time. I'm so stressed that I'm playing solitaire for cash. That's where I'm at.
Hey, just as a real heads up, that is a terrifying backslide you're about to make. That is one of those things. I know a friend of mine who she had to delete that app off of her phone because she was like, so I started playing this game. The next thing I knew, I was down $1,000. And she's like, so I had to delete the app, obviously.
Yes. I'm watching myself. I didn't put any money into it until like the 5th day. And then, they get you. I'm watching it. I don't have an addictive behavior, but I do have a desire for money. And I think like I'm the guy who's like one more spin on the slot machine. Trust me, this one more spin on the slot machine, it's gonna do it. It's gonna be the one. So you're right.
Ken, that's a gambling addiction. Like, that's part of it. That's the gambler's fallacy.
Okay, but here, look, I said it on the show, Jeff, so that I would have some sort of accountability. So in like a week, you check in on me, and if I'm living in a box outside Magnolia, blast from the past, then you know I've gone too far.
Ken, I'm worried about you. This is why I called. This is actually an intervention.
Oh,
I called all of your listeners and watchers here together to tell you that we're concerned about. I mean, I love trash gambling. It's one of my favorite things. I do Thanksgiving in Vegas every year.
Ooh.
But I tell you, the rooms are cheap. I don't think I pay anything to go. I just show up.
Go to the Gold Coast. They got a Fridays open 24 hours a day. They got a Subway sandwich for breakfast, and they got slot machines that pay out. Do it.
Okay. That is the most depressing. That's the most depressing culinary suggestions I've ever heard about Vegas. Yeah, you're like, there's a Friday. First off, I'm going to the Peppermill Diner and Fireside Lounge. There's no way I'm getting around it. Who doesn't love the Peppermill?
The Peppermill Fireside Lounge is the epitome of Vegas trash class, and I love it.
It's the tackiest, most wonderful place in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I love to go to the. Go ahead.
Well, what I love about the Fireside Lounge is they make you take your hat off too. Like
that matters when people are showing up in like Milwaukee Bucks jerseys and stuff.
Yes.
Is that the only app game that you have?
That's the only app game that I have. Correct. Yes, it is. It's the only one, unless you count.
And it's a money game.
And it's for actual money. Yeah. I'm gonna get rich off it, Jeff. I'm gonna break the system.
I have a couple of app games, and I put them in a file on my phone called Time Wasters.
Oh,
and it's just a way to like neg myself to remind myself that my career is spiraling out of control every time I play Marvel Snap.
No, that's fair. I have all my social media apps in a folder called Rage Machine. I should create time wasters or procrastinators. I should do that as well. That's a good tip.
I'm on a 7-day hiatus, courtesy of Twitter. They suspended me for 7 days.
How many times have you been suspended from Twitter? I've not been suspended from any social media app ever. I want to know how it goes.
Twice.
Okay.
Only both twice. Times? And it's usually just because I tell a certain politician, a specific politician, that I like. I hope they have a stroke, something like that. That's what did. I told Tom Cotton that I thought it would be really nice if he had a stroke, and
that got you automatically.
Either automatically. I couldn't even. They wouldn't even let me. Appeal it and be like, no, I was talking about him masturbating or something like that.
So let me ask you this question. How does that work on X.com? You get an email, or do you just go to your account one day and it's like, you're out of luck, pal?
It's both.
Wow.
You get an email that's like, hey, bud, you got 7 days off. Why don't you go get some sun? And I did.
Okay.
I'm not mad about it. If I'm being 100% honest, not having access to Twitter is not a painful experience for me.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Maybe they're doing a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. I love it.
I appreciate them. I appreciate the hard work that they're doing.
Yeah. Dylan Berry in chat is asking, we're talking about the Peppermill in Las Vegas, which it used to be near the old Riviera, when it's no longer there. Dylan Berry asks, is that the place by Dave's Hot Chicken? Is there Dave's Hot Chicken by there now? You've been there.
Is he talking about the Peppermill? The Peppermill is it's in the most fitting place you could imagine, a Ross Dress for Less.
Yes, it's right next. Yes, yeah. There could be a Dave's Hot Chicken there.
They're very well. If that's what you're talking about, it's more likely that there's a Dave's Hot Chicken closer to I was going to say but who knows?
It's been a couple years since I've been in Vegas, which is a shame because I just absolutely love the city. I love there. I love being out there. But good question, Dylan. We'll figure that out.
I mean, if you're talking L.A., there's a Dave's Hot Chicken literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And a Roasters, or not Kenny Rogers Roasters, the Ragin' Cajun. What is that one that literally caused so many problems in Burbank that the city government had to institute like new rules?
Oh, it's Raising Cane's,
Raising Cane's. They literally have had to change the city streets for that place.
which is funny because it's so mediocre.
Yes.
Like, I never understand chain love when we have access to like so many great restaurants. Like I that to me, like I mean I get it in the way of like every once in a while. You know, I remember I went to the Hard Rock with mutual friend Tom Krajewski as a bit, and it ended up being amazing, right? Like the food was great. It was like, but it was like we went as a bit, you know, like I understand if you live in a town where there are no really decent restaurants that it's gonna have to be TGI Fridays, or you know, it's gonna have to be that
Ruby Tuesdays.
Like, yeah. If you live in LA, like, what are you doing going to a chain?
Yeah, but but you and I also love the diners, which sometimes might fall below the chains, but not all the time. I think also the quality of the chains has gone down too.
Yeah, I don't think the Coral Cafe is like a worse meal experience than even like your higher end chains, like a In-N-Out or something like that, which I think is the most overrated of Los Angeles restaurant institutions.
In-N-Out is a mush burger. It's the French fries are cold. No, don't. If you come to LA, don't wait in line for it. Go when you can get it.
It is 100% not worth the line.
It's not. It's not.
Especially because burger culture in LA is so good.
Yeah, it's good burger culture. Yeah,
that you could go like to literally anywhere, and while it's not going to cost $3.99 like it would at In-N-Out, the experience is going to be better, and you're not going to have French fries that are the worst French fries you've ever had in your life.
Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of local, this has just turned into a local episode. Much
I'll go national if you want. We'll talk about best.
We go national. But it's like that. It's like that Mulaney show, except for no money involved. That's going on right now. That everyone's like, it's just an LA show. Ken Plume, who is not out here but spends a lot of time out here, is recommending, of course, Talleyrand, which I've never really spent a ton of time in.
So the Talleyrand is sort of like Coral Cafe for people that are somehow older. The Talleyrand is located on Olive, down the street, right down from House of Secrets, my local comic shop, and LA Sports Cards. LA Sports Cards. We're not Burbank Sports Cards.
I need to go to LA Sports Cards. Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're decent. They're good.
I don't Burbank Sports Cards. That now we're getting too local. I don't really like Burbank.
It's too local. The Talleyrand is fine. It's decent enough. I love a good diner. It's not my favorite diner. If I had to choose between the Talleyrand and Coral, I would take Coral every time. Same.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get some other calls in here soon, Jeff. But you've got me thinking about what chain restaurants, what fast foods actually might surpass some high class dining. We'll think about that.
That's an excellent point. I love that. Yeah. Let's have that for the rest of the day. Ken, I very much appreciate the time. If you guys are local to the Los Angeles area, come on down to the beautiful Blast from the Past on Magnolia in Burbank, California. Friday night, we saw doors are at 7. I mean, the doors are at like 11 a.m. But you don't want to get there for it. Killer lineup, free stuff. I give away a bunch of crap. Everybody's happy. Killer spot. I'm going to get back to putting a bunch of baseball cards away, Star Wars cards.
Do it.
Marvel cards.
Tell me.
Love you all. Hey, thank you all so much for supporting independent creators. You guys are the best. The world is a nightmare, and you guys are one of the rare things that make it great. So
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. All right, Jeff May, thank you, my friend. Jeff May calling in. Follow Jeff on social media. Not a Jeff. He's Hey There Jeffro is his username across the board. He's a fun follow, especially if you want to just watch a grown man running through the streets boxing. That's your content right there. Follow Jeff over there. We got a few calls lined up. I want to get to them. It's about time I check in on my fantasy baseball team. It's not going well, my fantasy baseball team. Not going well at all. And for those listening on the podcast version, my team is in 9th place out of 11 teams. We used to have 12. This is our first year with 9, and it's not going well. It's not going well at all, but I'm going to bring in someone right now who is it's going pretty well actually for him. In fact, he is his team's in fourth place. He manages the team here in my league. Please welcome to one of the mainstays around here. We get a lot of regular callers, and I love the new callers. We had a lot of new callers last week. We're gonna hopefully get some more this week, but I love the regulars. Here's a regular indeed, Johnny M from Long Island. How does it feel to have a winning fantasy baseball team right now?
I don't know. You brought me in this league like 3 years ago, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like finishing near the top hasn't been that hard, Ken.
Ouch. All right. My co-owner and I, Corey does all the heavy lifting. We have run this fantasy baseball team since 1999. We've won the league 3 times, but we finished in the money, which is top 5 or higher or top 4 or higher, almost every year until you got into the league. So I don't know what you're doing with your Long Island magic, but you're the problem. It's not me, it's you.
Look, I grew up around Steinbrenner. You know this. I studied the master, and I bring that kind of mentality to any fantasy sport I lead.
What's that mentality? Crush your opponents?
Yeah, crush your opponents at all
Okay.
costs.
Bradley's asking who has Otani. I don't remember who has Otani. We definitely don't have Otani. You don't have Otani.
No, I don't have Otani.
You do have Pete Alonso. You have a great team. Pete Alonso, De La Cruz, Lars Nootbaar. You got some good players on there.
Yeah, and I took Nootbaar because I love the name. I just want to.
It's great. I thought Lars Nootbaar was a fake MLB The Show name. When I had like MLB The Show 19, and you get to that point where the real players are kind of gone, there was a guy named Lars Nootbaar, and I was like, oh, this computer generated player is a star. He's a real human.
I don't know how far back your baseball gaming on consoles go, but there used to be a game called Baseball Stars.
Oh yeah, I didn't play it as much as Bases Loaded, but it was a favorite among some friends.
And Lars Nootbaar feels like, whether it's Baseball Stars, like back in the day when they weren't licensing, MLB players, Lars Nootbaar feels like a name that came out of that era.
Totally, he's a Bobson Dugnut. He's a absolute kind of fake name, and I love it. That's why I love it. Jeff is out there floating around, but before I bring in Jeff to share the air with you, do you have anything specific for me tonight? The rum has already hit me.
I actually do. I'll tell a brief story. I've teased it to you a couple of times.
Okay, I like it. I like it when you tease me.
I think with Jeff coming on, this might be a fun one to bring him on after.
You're not going to acknowledge that? Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm not gonna acknowledge me teasing you because no.
All right, fair enough. So you want me to
do?
Okay. Do you want me to bring on Jeffrey right now?
Well, do you want the story or do you want Jeff?
Well, you said it might be better with Jeff. Look, produce my goddamn show. What do you want?
I think we'll get Jeff's reaction afterwards because I love Jeff, but Jeff will step on the story a bit.
Yeah, I got you. He also gets drunk and walks to Del Taco drive-thrus with no car, and I love him for it. All right, tell me the story. Get there. Concisely tell me the story, and we'll get Jeff on.
So a few years back, I was happily married. While I was happily married, my ex-wife came down and complained that she saw a bat in the house.
A bat, okay.
A bat, like a bat. And I didn't really believe her. But my uncle was doing work on the upstairs bathroom and worked on the vent and didn't tell us that he left a hole in the house. Outside. A hole. Like a hole. So a bat had flown in the house. I saw it fly behind her in the darkness behind her. I was in a brighter room. I follow her. I grab I have nothing, at my access. So I grab a loaf of bread because I think it's a bird in the darkness. So we follow this upstairs. The kids were babies at the time. I have her. We work our way upstairs. We follow this thing upstairs. It's like a scene out of Ghostbusters or something.
Okay.
So she shuts the kids' doors, and I work my way down the hall. I have we had just moved in. So I have the cover of a crate that I'm using as a shield, like Captain America.
A crate,
and I'm holding I am holding a loaf of Italian bread in my other hand.
That was my big question. You grabbed a loaf of bread thinking it was some sort of weapon. You would need to be something like that.
So I work my way down the hall to our bedroom because that's where we saw it fly. And I snake my way in through the bathroom because the bathroom goes into the hall and then into the bedroom. Okay. So I snake my way through the bathroom and peek in as if I'm in a movie or something. God knows what I'm going to do. And all my ex-wife sees is pieces of bread flying onto our bed because I'm throwing them onto the bed, thinking I'm going to lure a bird onto the bed.
With the bread?
With the bread.
Okay.
So I'm throwing the bread onto the bed to lure the bat in. She, meanwhile, tries to call animal control. They're closed. This is like after midnight.
For one bat, yeah, you're not going to get an agent out there for that. Yeah.
Well. So she calls the cops, right? Unbeknownst to me, right? This is going somewhere.
911. What's your emergency? A bat.
So she says I'll hit you with the punchline in a minute. So I'm chasing the bat. The doorbell rings. I go answer the doorbell. Police start questioning me and interrogating me. And they're like, your wife called and said that you had a bat.
Did they show up with their service guns drawn?
So they're ready to bring me in. I have to qualify there is an actual bat in my bedroom. They don't believe me. I bring them upstairs. So this is cop number one.
Cop one. We'll call him Louis.
Right. So I thought this was a domestic dispute. So he calls back in and lets them know it's not a domestic dispute. We need somebody for the animals. So now we wait about 15 minutes. We're trying to figure out what to do with this thing. This thing is perched on my crown molding, right? Just like hanging out down. Doorbell rings 15 minutes later. Second cop comes. I go, oh, did you hear about the bat? They're like, yeah, I heard about the bat. Can you help me with the bat?
Okay. Eddie's here.
Eddie shows up.
Okay.
And can you help me with the bat? No, but I heard you have a bat. I just want to see it. I think it sounds really cool. Slow night at the department.
Slow night. Okay. Long Island, Massapequa was slow tonight.
Yeah. So we go upstairs. He checks out the bat. Doorbell rings again. Third cop. This guy's all ready to go. Goes, do you have a towel? Grabs a towel. All right. You have that cover that you had before.
Yeah.
Right? Has me underneath this perched bat.
Okay.
With the cover, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? He's like, well, I'm going to open that window, and if this thing flies at you, just swat at it and try to knock it out the window.
Okay.
So I'm looking now up at the bat, and the jaws start opening. It's like a scene out of a movie. I'm freaking out.
Okay.
It's a tiny little thing. So he grabs it with a towel and throws it out the window. And I'm like, did you just kill the bat? He's like, no, they can fly. And we see this thing fly off. And that's the end of the story.
They can fly. Yes, I think I know they can fly. This is okay. All right, so we got some comments there. Officer Steve shows up. So let's see what this, and we'll get. So Lauren Romo says there's the first clue that she is Johnny's ex now. He didn't believe her when she told him. So what's your thought to that there? Answer. We're going to break down your story. Why didn't you believe her?
I said we were happily married, but it was it was the beginning of the end.
It was okay. It was got it. It was like a Dylan song at the end. Okay, got it. So I understand that. And a laser bolt says best way to catch a bat is throw a towel or blanket at it. You'll never hit it with a racket or baseball bat. So laser bolts give us some good advice there. In the end, that's what saved the day. A blankie and a cover of a plastic cover, right?
Well, and my takeaway was bats are not attracted to bread.
Okay, let's mark that down. I'm writing that down for future use too. Not a lot of bats out here in Burbank. Bats, no likey bread. Got it. Beautiful point. And then Lauren Roma says there's another clue. She called the cops. So now Lauren's really taking down your marriage at this point in time. But you're okay with that because it did end.
Oh, we're very cordially and happily divorced at this point.
Happily divorced. Final thing, Ken Plume says, this is a very Long Island story. What say you to that?
I mean, that's fair. This is the first, that was my first experience with a bat because I grew up in a different county. that did not have apparently as many bats as the one I live in now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so we're going to do two things right now, folks. You're listening and watching and hanging out with Cat Knapsack, me here on the Blathering Live. We do this every week, and soon, once I finish some other work projects, we'll be doing this more times a week. You can call in by becoming a YouTube channel member here or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/CatKnapsack. While you're there, you can get the Young Guns movie commentary that is out. Young Guns 2 will be on the way. And you can also go to my website if you want. Check out the shop. New items are up. That's right. I have extended the Why We Love Star Wars Going Out of Business sale. The fine folks at the website company were like, hey, we saw that you tried to quit. Would you like to stick with your normal price for another 30 days? I was like, yes, I'd like to do that before you raise the price of my website $800. So some stuff's up there in the shop, including I'm selling some stuff. I'm not going to lie. This is a little bit of a garage sale. I'm selling a rare CM Punk Funko Pop. It's a good item. All right, enough of that. Let's get back to the calls. I'm bringing to the show now, adding them here to, I think we can all hear at the same time. We got Johnny M. from Long Island, but we've got from South Texas, Nurse Jeff. Nurse Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm finding my way through this all. It's the best way to do it. Just look positively towards tomorrow. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been trying to get on for like the last I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of times I'm working when you're doing your shows, but I've been off the last 3 weeks. But I've been doing this thing. I think it's called day drinking.
Day drinking.
Yeah, and I'm not fit to call in by the time you're on.
Well, look, I got to tell you something. When you do it, why don't you just do it?
Yes.
The next time you can quote day drinking, call in. I want to see what kind of Nurse Jeff we get. But I also don't want to ruin your reputation as one of the community's finest nurses. How you doing? I want to see if you have any questions or stories for me. Have you seen Bigfoot lately? But Johnny M's bat story, he was really keen to get your reaction.
Yeah. I probably would have tried to lure it out with a penguin or a good riddle.
I like where you went with it. And I'm good. Johnny M., do you feel as though a good riddle or a penguin would have worked?
I could have tried it. I tried a couple of jokes, but my jokes weren't that jokey.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Jeff, you've been you live in an undisclosed part of Texas, the great state of Texas.
Yes.
Bats, are they normal? Wolverines, chupacabras, Bigfoots, skinwalkers. What's the norm out there where you live?
Yeah, I mean there are several places here in the hill country where there are big bat colonies.
Can I stop you for 1 second? When you say hill country, is it a local term that everyone's familiar with, or am I to assume you live in a horror film?
Well, I mean, it depends on what day of the week it is, but it's
and how much day
drink. That's what they call Central Texas is the hill country, because there's like small mountains here.
Okay, I got it. So it's like, hey, normally we're just a big fat flat plain. Why am I mixing my words up there? Because I'm day drinking. But I got it. Okay, so there's tiny little hills. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. What was the question?
What kind of creatures are normal for your neck of the woods?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of outdoors out here. We do have a lot of bats. In some of the hills, even like around Austin, there's caves that bats spend part of the year in, and you can go out and watch them like at dusk when they go out to feed, and it's pretty wild. It's like a cloud of bats coming out.
Not freaky at all. Your one bit of advice to get rid of a bat from your soon-to-be ex-wife's house.
Oh, well, do I know about the affair yet?
That's what you're gonna.
Because I might just leave the sucker there.
You might just turn around and walk out. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't think that was Johnny M's situation, but for you, I think that works perfectly. I think that's good. That's good. All right. Johnny M, do you have any feedback? on his feedback.
It's great advice from Jeff. I kind of wish he was there to tell the thing a riddle, and maybe that could have, between my bread and his riddle, we still would be stuck in the same situation.
We'd still have a bat.
You guys are like a traveling Wilburys song. The two of you, Johnny M and Nurse Jeff. I love this. Speaking of, you guys stick on here, and I want to get some more stuff from you here. And by the way, Bradley, Jeff, now you work in the medical field. Bradley is saying drinking in moderation is healthy. It's a good blood thinner to prevent blood clots. If that's the case, I'm going to have no blood clots ever. Japan and Spain have the highest life expectancy. They both incorporate drinks, alcohol, in their diet. Sake in Japan, red wine in Spain. Now, I don't exactly have a good, healthy amount of red wine for my heart, nor sake, but I don't know if pineapple juice and lime-flavored rum is healthy. But as a medical professional who day drinks, Jeff, are you doing it for your health?
I wasn't, but maybe I am now. I mean, according to this new information I've been given,
it's life-changing.
I'm probably immortal between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m.
Yeah, well, and you also keep weird, not weird. You work, you keep those work hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So it makes a lot of sense. Bradley, I appreciate the information there. All right, Jeff, I have a question for you. And let me get it here. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. You're a fan of Bigfoot.
Yes.
You sent me this gift here that's on screen, the emergency Bigfoot. You also sent me, and for the podcast listeners, I'm holding up a little sound device that makes Bigfoot sounds. Just sounds like Chewy and Mala maybe getting it on. And then you also sent me this Bigfoot action figure.
Yes, sir.
And Bigfoot feet I have over here, too, that have appeared on my sports card ASMR. I know you haven't encountered Bigfoot.
Well,
well, you have?
Not exactly. I don't know. I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. You were a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more. Try to be concise, shorter than you would be at a Del Taco drive-through drunk with no car.
Okay.
When did you see Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm. I didn't see him. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, I think, we had gone on a fishing trip to an area along the border of Texas and Louisiana. There's a big man-made lake there called Lake Toledo Bend. And we went on a fishing trip there, and I don't know, I had an accident and cut my foot on a piece of glass. So the day that everyone was swimming in the lake, I couldn't go swimming. So I was sitting playing in the sand, and I saw a footprint. And granted, I was a little guy, so it probably wasn't as big as it looked. There were also a lot of teenagers there, so they could have been pranking me. But it looked like a Bigfoot footprint.
It looked like. So, okay. Right. And I remember I think you told me this story once at a hotel in Anaheim. Okay. It looked like a big. Did anyone take an impression?
No. One of the other kids, stomped in it, and just kids being kids.
Damn kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your close encounter. How hard do you believe in Bigfoot, the woolly booger, or is it something you want to believe in? What's your take on it now? I want to know. And then Johnny M can jump in here and tell us what he thinks about Bigfoot from Long Island.
I think, if I'm going to be completely honest,
please be.
I would say that the science and evidence for a Sasquatch or a hairy man-ape or a Bigfoot or a woolly booger, whatever you want to call them.
I mean, you're just describing most of the people from Long Island, but okay.
Well, I mean, and some of my relatives from Arkansas as well. But
fair enough.
I think the science is very thin. I think there is some maybe evidence, but it's you have to kind of squint and maybe put on rose-colored glasses when you look at it. Now that's me being honest.
Okay, that's you honest.
Do I want it to be real?
Want is a different question. Yeah.
Yes. And the answer to that is yes. I think that there's not enough magic and just unknown stuff in the world anymore. So the thought that there could be things out there that we haven't yet discovered, I think is kind of exciting.
I love that. Okay. I like that idea. I like that. Steve, by the way, we have a drinking game in chat. Right. No, that's not that comment just popped up. I'm going to come back to that comment. Steve says that's the new rule. Chat finishes their drink at Del Taco reference number 3 per stream. I like this. I like this. It's the Del Taco drinking game for the Blathering Live. By the third, and this, by the way, this reference doesn't count, but by the third official Del Taco reference, you have to finish your drink. I think that's
okay. I have a joke.
Okay. Oh no. Okay.
A Texan, a New Yorker, and a Swedish guy walk up to a Del Taco.
Okay. I think I know how this ends, but what's the joke?
I don't know. I mean, that whole thing is the joke.
I don't know. Look, man. I don't know if that's All right, I'm about to kick you.
Before you kick us, I'll give you the punchline to that joke. Is that the Texan acted like he was driving the car as we walked through the drive-through and placed the order for us.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
This is true.
All right. You guys are all amazing. Nurse Jeff, Johnny M from Long Island. I appreciate you supporting me all these years. You guys keep me sane, and I appreciate being on the call. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love you, buddy.
Yes.
Go out and high-five a nurse today. It's Florence Nightingale's birthday.
It's Nurse Day.
It's Nurse Day, yeah.
Okay. Love that. Thank you, Jeff. Keep doing the work you do. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, we are live here on the Blathering. It's the Blathering Live. We do this every week, most Thursdays. Look for it. We are going to have some fun here. We got some calls lined up. Got Brennan here. I got Chris calling in. Going to take care of a little bit of business as reset. I'm going to get. All right, I'm going to get this other while I'm doing this. I love producing the show on the fly. We got a great comment in chat from the wonderful Adam Witt, who's watching on Twitch. But I have got it. There it is. There's Adam's email. Adam, I'm going to email you a link. If you want to call, you can call into the show because I love you very much. And he's one of the nicest gentlemen in this town, and I'd love to hear from him. But while we're talking a little business, don't forget on Patreon, you got the Young Guns movie commentaries exclusively on Patreon, or it's in the Patreon shop. If you don't want to support on Patreon, you can support there as well. Stay tuned. I also have some up on my website. Check out the shop for some things, but also I have got some stand-up comedy news coming soon too that if you're local and you can get out to some things, might be cool for you. All right. Jake Yakovetis says Adam is the best, and he is. I'm going to get this next guy in because he was in, then he dropped. And, but Adam, the comment I brought up, Adam says, we'll be getting a reading from your new book, Stories I Heard Once in a Hotel in Anaheim. You know, that should be Tarantino's final movie. Stories I heard once in a hotel in Anaheim. That seems like it should be it. All right, call it in right now. I call him the greatest librarian in L.A. County. His wife is the greatest librarian in Thousand Oaks County. And I got a music question that maybe we'll answer together. Chris, you're on the Blathering. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
You know what? I could not be better, but also want to be better. How about that?
Sounds great, and I'm glad my headphones are working this time. I'm not gonna.
Oh, you sound wonderful.
Bungle the technology like I did last time.
You sound wonderful, my friend.
What's you said you have a music question, or what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
right.
Question. And by the way, we got a super chat in from Laserbolt. If you want to ask questions that are in chat, you don't have to call in for the questions. We can answer them here. Also, if you want to super chat, you want to leave a tip or scan the QR code on the screen and donate to Morning Drive Media, I'm not going to say no, okay? Ken Plume says, Tarantino's final movie should be I Heard It Once While Walking Through the Drive-Thru Del Taco. There it is, the third reference to Del Taco. Here's the question. Malcolm Montero wrote, hey, Ken, I feel like you're one of the more qualified people to answer this. How do you rank the Beatles post-Beatles bands? i.e. Wings, i.e. Traveling Wilburys, etc., etc. I guess you could also include in there Plastic Ono Band, You could. Where else could you go? Delaney and Bonnie with a little George Harrison in the background. There's a lot of ways to go. Chris, I don't know if you're as big as a Beatle fan historically as I am. We share a lot of musical tastes. What's your stance on the Beatles to begin with?
I mean, they're fantastic. You cannot deny that. I don't go too deep into their catalog. A lot of my family, my dad and his girlfriend are both huge Beatles fans. You know, I remember borrowing Sgt. Pepper from my dad growing up. But this question I'm definitely not qualified for their post Beatles careers. But
the question is, and chat can maybe put out choices that I'm not thinking of the Firemen. I love the Firemen. It's Paul McCartney, but it's him and I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's him and another guy. So there's some options out there. I will say I love Wings. I think Wings has a wonderful catalog of music. I have no problem with Paul deciding to work with his wife, Linda McCartney. I think Denny Lane is just an underrated rock and roll legend. We lost him recently. Rest in peace, Denny Lane. So I love Wings. But that said, Traveling Wilburys Volume 1 is one of the albums for me. It is a start to finish. I don't turn it off. Even some of the songs that aren't as popular. Love it. Therefore, Margaritaville, not Margaritaville. God, why am I drawing a blank on that too? But Tweeter and the Monkey Man, that's there as well. Anything from Jeff Lynne, I'm good. I'm on that there. I guess could you count ELO as a post Beatles band? Maybe not. So, anyways, love Traveling Wilburys. What's your relationship to Traveling Wilburys?
Kind of the same thing. I know. Well, not the same thing actually. I know the name, but I mean, I don't really know much of their music, but I do find out have been finding out about a lot of great bands from your pop rock and radio, if I can throw in a plug for that. So this is just continuing to add to the list of
there you go
bands and artists I should know about.
Hang on, I don't know if got a show this week. I might be out of town this weekend, but yeah. By the way, Margarita. I said Margaritaville. Margarita is the name of the Traveling Wilburys song. All right. This is good. And Ken Plume's not wrong. Volume 2. Kind of a letdown. Wilburys Volume 2 didn't really exist, but Volume 3 was okay. We do the Wilbury twist. All right. Chris, do you have a question, comment, thought starter? Where are you going?
I do have a question. I had to drop out for a second, but I am on my city-sanctioned lunch hour right now. But I was watching the show earlier, and then I had to drop out to take care of work stuff. Now I'm back, so I don't know if you talked about this already.
Do you hear that, LA County? He's not on your time. He's not on your time.
I'm fiscally responsible. Yeah. So I went to the smokehouse for the first time last night.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for your update.
What do they put in that garlic bread?
Love. They put love and crack cocaine.
Okay.
How did this go? So let me reset this for those outside of like Del Taco. I think one of the only other places, one of the other eateries I mention the most is one of my favorite restaurants, the Smokehouse, a steakhouse in Studio City that's been around for 70 plus years, 75 years. Carson was a regular, George Clooney a regular, a lot of Sinatra was a regular, all that stuff.
Yes.
I love it. I always caveat a little bit, like, is it the best food? No. Is it an older restaurant? Yeah. Is most of the staff 70 and above? Yeah. But you're walking into LA history. I love it. So take me through your trip.
It was great. So I met up with a friend that works at the Downtown Central Library. Okay. And I was kind of looking at maps, and we kind of figured out Burbank, Studio City is kind of a midpoint if we're both getting off work at the same time. And then she threw out Smokehouse, and I was like, fantastic. I've never been there. So met up 6:30 dinner last night. Got the garlic bread, perfect timing. We got there right at the same time. I had the beef stroganoff, which I don't know if that was the right.
I've never had it.
Looking at the menu, you're like, well, it's a steakhouse. They got the tri-tip, they got the mashed potatoes, whatever. And I was like, you know what? Beef stroganoff is singing my name tonight. It was amazing.
Love it. Okay. Love it.
My friend loved it start to end. Great conversation, all that good stuff. And it might be a regular meetup spot if it is really like a midpoint for us.
Yeah, it's a great spot. So yeah, tragic news just came over in the chat. Jack Cull says closest Del Taco is 5.5 hour drive from him. Oh wow, I'm so sorry about that.
Might be worth it though.
8984M says asks, is the smokehouse close to Universal Studios? It is.
Yes,
It's pretty
yes,
close
it
to
is.
Universal Studios. Yeah.
I did bring up your name during the course of dinner last night, and my friend was like, maybe we should invite Ken next time because he's such a smokehouse veteran. He could show us what's the good drinks, what's the best dessert to order, all that good stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I never turn down a smokehouse invite. It's very rare if I do. And I got a smokehouse gift card I got for my birthday. I had one last year from the great Brian Tiller that took me almost a year to get to. But the reason is I went to, between the time I got the gift card and the time I used it, I went to the smokehouse like 5 times, but I was always in groups, and I was not going to share my gift card with nobody but Grace. I was like, no, I'm not. This gift card's for me and me alone.
That's right.
So it took me about a year to get there, but I have another one. I'm trying to go sooner. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But here's the thing. The garlic bread's a must. Are you a fan of wedge salads? Do you like just an iceberg wedge on a plate?
It's good, yes. Did not get a salad.
I'm not convinced at all that you like a wedge salad. I think you just threw me under the bus. I think you just waved your hand and said, "Get away with your wedge salad."
It's not something I would necessarily choose to order, I would say, but it is good.
Okay.
I've had them before in the past.
Okay, I can accept that.
Have you had any desserts at Smokehouse? Have you seen the presentation, the pomp and the circumstance that comes with it?
We got tough words in chat. Steve, who called in last week, says, "I don't get the wedge story." Okay. I don't get the wedge. Sorry, I read that wrong. Okay. Overall, what do you rate it?
I would definitely go back there again, without a doubt. I mean, just kind of like you said, the ambiance, the food, the vibe.
Ambiance. Yeah.
The location, you're right across from Warner Brothers Studios. Definitely. Like, I don't know, 9 out of 10. I don't know, whatever you.
God bless you. I love you. Because I got one of my friends. I'm not going to call him out. He's a real wanger, and I brought him there like twice, and he texts Mark Ellison. He's like, this place. After I thought about it, it ain't all that. And if you know who I'm talking to, you folks can go in his live stream on Monday and give him shit for it, because he has disparaged the smokehouse in my presence. All right, Chris, I'm very happy. I cannot wait to get to Smokehouse with you.
Yes, absolutely. My colleague and I will meet up with you next time.
Let's do it.
But so they ask, are you interested in dessert? And we're like, well, we'll take a look at the menu. But plot twist, they bring the tray full of the desserts and show them to you.
Yes, like an old school restaurant.
It's one thing to say like, oh, okay, I get the idea. There's cheesecake, there's a Boston cream pie, but then they show it to you and you're like, oh, that's the cheesecake, that's the apple pie. So it's so much harder to say no when it comes to you like that.
What'd you get?
Boston cream.
Boston cream. I'm usually so full. I'm usually a 2 garlic cheese toast guy. Like, we usually get 2 loaves and finish them.
We took it easy. We just started with a half loaf, and
that's a sin. That's a sin against nature.
But that way, okay. Well, I mean, next time for sure we'll get the full. We'll know to bulk up at the beginning of the meal.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I came out real hard on that there. Okay.
It's all right. It's awesome. It's passion. It's passionate.
So 9 out of 10. Chris likes the Smokehouse. It is my restaurant of choice. Like, I love that. Okay, that's good. Chris, I appreciate you calling, and I got some calls to get to, but I love to hear from you. And I love that you texted me the other day and said, you're thinking of some stand-up bits. I want to know them. I want to hear them.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're not going to use them, maybe I'll buy them from you. You coward! Get on stage. All right, Chris Kiefer, everybody. He's one of my favorite human beings on this planet. I'm gonna get to a couple calls here, but I want to get into the controversy. Ranger Donald asks, "What's a wedge salad?" And Ken Plume says a wedge salad is vanilla. It's a vanilla salad. I reject this. I reject this on all levels. A wedge salad is the best part of salad: the crispy lettuce and the dressing and the toppings, and it's straightforward. It's not all jumbled and convoluted in some big salad bowl. It's not stirred and mixed. It is the power of choice on your salad plate. You get to do what you want. Do you want a lettuce heavy bite, or do you want a dressing heavy bite? Do you want a lot of bacon and tomatoes? Do you want the onions in? You get to decide. Do you want the blue cheese crumbles? They might as well call it the personal agency salad is what I'm going with. 8984M asks, Oh wait, it's an actual wedge of lettuce? Question mark. Yeah, it is a wedge of iceberg lettuce, the best kind of lettuce. Chris Kiefer, thanks for the call. Love you, buddy. Garlic bread basket brigade. There you go. Okay, I've been waiting to get this guy on the show here. He's one of my favorite human beings. We are about 2 years late on a lunch date that is supposed to happen. Some of you might know him from his work in the movie Trivia Schmodown. I know him from his work as being Adam Witt. Mr. Razor Witt, welcome to the Blathering Live. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, God bless you, sir. Am I coming through okay?
You're coming through so clear, I can hear your soul.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm glad my soul reads through, because sometimes I can be a little abrasive, and it's good that you know I'm a good guy on top of that.
You're a good guy. I keep telling a lot of people that. Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you for the smokehouse love here. This is a national treasure, certainly a local one. You know who else used to eat at the smokehouse, and I just geek out when I'm there because John Hughes used to go there and write. And I try and pick out which booth John Hughes wrote Career Opportunities in. That's what I do when I see it.
We got to find that out. And they don't really market. They have a lot of history up in terms of photos, but they're just kind of like, yeah, everyone's been here. I wonder if there's the Carson booth. We'll have to figure that out. Because Rainbow Room, which I went to recently with some friends, I hadn't been there in years. The last time I was at the Rainbow Room, Lemmy was there, and Cypress Hill was smoking out on the patio with Judd Nelson. Quite a night.
What? That's incredible. Oh, what a great.
It was. I mean, 2002. 2002. We were going to the Roxy and or maybe the Key Club. One of the my roommate's band was playing his band called 818, and we went next door after the show, and I'm like this little, still kind of naive, small town guy living in the big city, and I was like, oh, the Rainbow Room, and I turned the corner, and there's all of Cypress Hill smoking, and this is before the marijuana laws were what they are now.
Yeah,
and
Cypress
this
Hill
was just
did not give.
They were. It was impressive, and then we get in there, and then Lemmy comes walking around. It's like, this is everything you dream about when you think you're going to move to L.A. and chase things.
Now, question. Yeah. I went to Rainbow recently. I had some friends in from out of town, and another treasure. I mean, I'm just so appreciative of this place we get to live in and do all this strange stuff.
Right. God damn it, you're so right.
Are you familiar with the room above the upstairs bar?
No, I know there's the upstairs bar, but there's a room above it?
Yeah, okay. So I'd never been to the I'd been to the Rainbow a bunch of times, but I'd never been to the upstairs bar. And I was here with a friend, and I was like, let's go check out. And it's kind of like a whole different bar. It's got a whole punk vibe or whatever. And then in the back of that bar is a ladder that goes to a little balcony. And inside that, you almost have to crouch to go into it, is a booth in a red room. And this is the room that was John Lennon's room when the lost year of John Lennon, right? So
the 74, the lost weekend.
Right. And so he would party with who's the
May Pang, and then Harry Nilsson and Ringo and the Smothers Brothers. Oh yeah,
so, this is like nights before the night before he would get kicked out of the Troubadour or whatever, like all those famous things. But this room up there, and it's really cool. And I took a friend who was a huge John Lennon friend and a John Lennon fan, and we just discovered that place. And they were like a bachelorette party, because there's like kind of like two little spaces or whatever, and they were on the inside, and they give us the whole history of it. They're like, this is John Lennon's room where he would come and party with Harry Nilsson. Yeah.
See, we went, and she's in chat, and Jennifer Muro said the least abrasive man ever. And I think she's talking about you, but she could also be talking about Lemmy. I don't know. I was at the Rainbow Room with Jen, and I'll just say an Oscar winner. We were there having some fun. I did not know. I got to get back there. But the Rainbow Room designates the tables. So you're at the Guns N' Roses table. You're at the table that the Red Hot Chili Peppers were at.
Incredible.
I think the Smokehouse, if they don't do that. They need to do that. You're at the Clooney table, the Carson table, the Adam Witt table. They need to do it.
Absolutely. And by the way, the Smokehouse does something that is rare. Now, I have two markers when I go to a place, especially a diner like the Coral Cafe. There's two things I get. One is the Monte Cristo. I got to see what a place's Monte Cristo is like. It's so regional. And when I go to a place, I also have to find out how their sausage and gravy, biscuits and gravy is another thing that's just completely different everywhere you go.
Yeah, okay.
I'm from Ohio. Did I mention that?
Okay. I want to jump in here. I don't want to get too distracted. This is the Blathering. We blather. But for me, when I go to a diner, it's the BLT or a club sandwich or just a cheeseburger. If I go to the Rainbow Room, it's, all right, let me get the sliders and check the sliders. So we all have the meal we ordered to check the restaurant.
Right.
I love that you were like, I'd like the ham and cheese sandwich dipped in dough or the dumplings and the thickest, richest meal I can get. That's impressive. That's impressive, Whit.
Yeah, that's an Ohio thing. Monte Cristo is once I get out in the world. But the thing that the smokehouse does that not everyone does, they take their Monte Cristo after they've put it all together with the egg bread already and then dip it in batter and deep fry that.
Wow.
Now that is rare, and that is the best way you can make a Monte Cristo, and that's what's great about it.
I want to go. God, I wish I'm happily engaged. I wish I could date Adam Witt. I'd be the luckiest man in the world. Have you gone to Damon's in Glendale? Well, this is a local show tonight. I don't give a shit.
It is a local show.
Have you gone to Damon's in Glendale?
I have not.
God bless
I've been to the Coral Cafe 85 times.
I know. I ran into you in Preston there. Remember that one time? He was like, I was like, oh, here you are.
As one does.
As one does. The Damon's in Glendale has the twice baked potato, which I know other restaurants do, but
somebody does it the best.
They lean into it. It's great.
I like that.
All right, I cut you off. Where did you want to go tonight?
Where did I want to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you have a question? I begged you to call in. I sent you an email and said, please, for the love of God, call in.
No, I appreciate it. I just want to say I love the idea of the call-in show. This is so much better than typing in a chat. I guess I was raised on talk radio, so the idea that you're taking callers was fairly thrilling to me, so thank you for the invite. I just like being on a call-in show, although I did not begin properly, which is to say long-time listener, first-time caller, which is literally true right now.
It's a little true. Claudia Dolphin chat, speaking of Schmodown competitors, Damon's is the best. Chi-Chi's, they have Chi-Chi's, which are like, I've served other places too as well, like a little fruit drink, almost like I'm drinking now, pineapple and rum. They're so sweet, they go down so fast, and they just shove them in your face. There has been times, because I'm responsible, there's been times where I've paid the check, gotten up, and realized, I can't drive home. I'm going to have to walk around Glendale till this Chi-Chi wears off, which sounds dirty, but it's not. It's a great drink. All right, Adam, I'm going to let you go soon, but I want to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. 2, we got to hang out at the Comedy Store soon.
Sure.
3, favorite Cincinnati Red from the 1990 World Series wire-to-wire team that is not Eric Davis.
Oh, you robbed me of Eric Davis, huh? Mm-hmm. I like that I know you well enough that you knew that was the one you had to pull out.
You met Eric Davis.
Oh, I did. Oh, my God. This was... let me just tell the Eric Davis story. Well, I mean, I guess I'd have to say Chris Sabo, right?
Sabo, goggles, that's fair.
Rookie of the year. Such a Cincinnati nerd boy, ultra Cincinnati kid type dude. So you're like, I just love that he was Rookie of the Year and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The Eric Davis, but Eric Davis was like my entry to baseball. Like all my friends got into sports and rock and roll, all this stuff long before I did. I was a Star Wars kid, and none of that stuff was as interesting to me as Star Wars.
God bless you.
Eventually I got into sports, but and it was like the baseball card thing, Eric Davis, when he started going, 40-40 and started stealing, really had a big year, 87. And I was like, well, I could collect Eric Davis cards. Like, this guy's cool. And then that kind of got me into the Reds. So Eric Davis was the man. And I got to tell you, I lived in Chicago. My friends and I would come out here. We had some business. I had a sketch comedy troupe. I had some meetings. But since we had all these Chicago friends out here, we threw a big party for the Monday Night Football, which was the Bears. And a friend of mine rented out the top room, but the top room had a whole glass side to it, so you could look down on the club and see what was going on down there. And it was like a Hennessy party. It was some sort of it was like and everybody was dancing and everybody was dressed to the nines down there. And so we were kind of walled off watching with all of our friends watching the Bears, and we'd look down and these people are dancing and stuff like that, and we'd go down and get drinks and bring them back up and everything like that. And my friend just grabs me and goes, "That's Eric Davis." And I'm like, well, and I never recognize celebrities. And I go, get that. But of course it makes sense. I know he's from LA. And he goes, "That's Eric Davis." There was Eric Davis in a full powder blue matching jumpsuit, dancing his butt off, and he goes, "Oh my God," and drags me down there, and I walk right up to the man. I go, "Sure enough, it is Eric Davis." And he was unprepared for a kid who had grown up watching him play baseball to come up and go, "Oh my God, you're Eric Davis." And I threw out about 800 references, everything I'd ever wanted to say to Eric Davis, and he laughed the whole time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that story. So your answer, though, was Chris Sabo. Great answer.
Chris Sabo.
Paul O'Neill, Todd Benzinger, Billy Bates, whose last Major League game was that run he scored to help you get that win, I think, game 2. Love that.
You could also go with the Nasty Boys. I did like
Myers and Dibble.
Dibble, yeah. I loved Rob Dibble, man. He was great.
Rob Dibble. Adam Witt, hey, before you get out of here, this is a call-in show, but it's also a chance for you to put yourself over there. I want the people who are listening who maybe aren't familiar with you to find you. You got a lot of great Movie Guys content. Where do you want to have them find you?
Oh, yeah, you can look up the Movie Guys. We do a live show some Mondays, sometimes many days in a row. We have a show called The Ford Fiesta, Paul Preston and I. We only talk about Harrison Ford.
Which I was on, and it's a great time. It's a great time indeed. Vermont Mike just checked in, and he said my Reds. Yeah, he's a big Red fans too. Love that, Adam. I really do. I text you. We are literally about 2 years overdue for a lunch, but we'll get together soon.
Hey, this was good. This worked for the meantime.
This is LA, baby. We catch up on shows and podcasts. That's how we maintain friendships.
Hey, Ken. No, love you.
Love you. All right. Adam Witt, everybody. Check out Adam Witt. Like you said, a Movie Guys. He and Paul Preston and his gang have a lot of wonderful fun. I've got calls lined up. Oh, I've got so many calls, but I do have the super chat I want to get to. Laser Bolt videos. I talked about this on 20 Minutes of Coffee the other day. We did a great episode yesterday morning, actually, about stress relief. I'm experiencing a lot of stress right now. Who is not experiencing a lot of stress? So we had a good conversation about stress relief, and there you go. But on that episode, I talked about this guy. He is a caller or a longtime listener. He hasn't called in yet. Laserbolt, you got to call in. But he's very generous with the super chats. But more importantly, he's got a great YouTube channel that needs more followers. I want more eyes on it. He puts fun, great, just I want to say wholesome because that's the wrong vibe, but it's just fun content that makes you smile. He's also got great drone footage and Microsoft Flight Simulator footage that's mesmerizing in a wonderful way. But he puts these Star Wars Day videos out. He has one up on his channel now, Laserbolt videos. He asked me a super chat. He's got 2 up there as well. Wow, look at this. Thank you, Laserbolt. It says, Ken, have you ever had an old video take off out of the clear blue sky for no reason? I recently had an old car repair video inexplicably start getting loads of views. I realized because the video is about VATS, Vehicle Anti-Theft System. Turns out my video was coming up when people search for Fallout. How about you? Hard to explain success stories. I have not had one that just popped off out of nowhere. It's weird. I'm trying to grow my sports card ASMR channel. Shout out to Vermont Mike, who listens and supports and watches over there and leaves great comments. And those who, if you love ASMR, I seriously use ASMR to de-stress. I've used it for about 15 years. So about a year ago, I started a channel. It's slow going, but we're actually growing. I gained about 25 subscribers this week, trying to get to 1,000. If you'd like to subscribe, please head over to Sports Card ASMR. I have had nothing go viral, but I've uploaded a video, and maybe in the first 24 hours, I don't know, it's a 200-view video, but I put some up, and the next thing you know, it's like 1,000, and it's 1,000 in an instant. You don't really understand why. As far as the old videos, yeah, it's happened not to me personally, but on Force Center, we had I used to do the in memoriams. I used to do them on Jedi Alliance, and I started doing them for Force Center in one of my shows I used to do called Spotlight Star Wars. Then we stopped doing that show, and I took the in memoriams, and Kevin Smets, the great, wonderful smasher, Kevin Smets, edited these in memoriam videos we put up. One of them was Ula, the dancing girl from Jabba's Palace. Hit 14,000 views. That's not a lot for a lot of other big channels. Totally get it. There's a lot of people living in big houses with their million-view videos. Get it. But for Force Center, at the time, was not on YouTube. We just would upload things just to see, just to have some fun. We were a podcast first. One day, tuned in, 14,000 views overnight on Ula. It was fantastic. That's happened. Jen Landa just put her wonderful Jedi Beat series. We did 5 episodes as YouTube docs. They're wonderful. There's some of the best Star Wars content out there. Check them out. They get okay views, a few thousand views. Her video on Marsha Lucas just took off in the course of a week. We didn't fully understand why. It's the mystery of the algorithm. Something hits, you find it, you find that vein. But to your point, Laserbolt, I've not had anything just take off from 5 years ago. It happens. I had a friend, an old friend, we're not friends anymore, but an old friend who used to write like for websites, was like a blogger, but like a journalist, a writer, and used to put in like Amazon affiliate links. And she said 1 year at Christmas, an article she had written 6 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, suddenly caught, and she made $10,000 in 1 month on Amazon affiliate links because it was like a here's some gift ideas article. And she goes, I have no idea what happened. Just suddenly people found it 5, 6 years after the fact, and boom, a lot of money at the end of the year. You know, so it happens. And Laserbolt, I'm very happy that you've had that. You deserve all the views there. 8984M says, yes, Jedi Beat is awesome. It truly is. And Laserbolt says, Jedi Beats are great. Shout out to Ranger Donald, who says Sports Card ASMR is honestly one of his favorite channels. Had no interest in baseball cards till you put it in a way that somehow made me care. I love that. A couple calls lined up here on the show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in to the Blathering Live. I'm Ken Knapsack. You can follow me on Patreon if you want support over there, or you can just continue hanging out with me here. I'm going to bring in a couple callers who called in last week. He made his debut on the show last week, and he had some wonderful hot takes from the sports world and other world, all the things. Welcome back to the show, Steve. Steve, are you drunk from my Del Taco references?
Getting there, I'll tell you. It's. Well, I think we stopped the count at 5 so far, but that one doesn't count. We can't.
That one doesn't count. Yeah, it has to be organic. Yeah. Organic Del Taco references. Yeah.
Right. Agreed. All right. So, first thing, just off the bat, sell me on the wedge. What are we doing here? When I think of a wedge salad, I think of you buy the bag of lettuce from the store, you chop it in half with a machete, you throw some bacon bits on top. What is the difference?
Okay, I'm going to answer your question. On Twitch, Aaron, the author, Aaron Plays Poorly, is watching. She says, there's a theme for today's show, or is it a free-for-all? Aaron, it's a free-for-all, and I need you to call in. Yakovetta's in chat says, a wedge salad is so bleeping stupid. You're all wrong about this. The wedge salad. Now, let me, Steve, let me pitch it back to you for a second. What is your ideal salad? What are you working with?
I'm not picky when it comes to the salad. I mean, give me a good quality Caesar or a house or Italian salad. I don't need a lot of protein in my salad. Like if I'm going for salad, I'm looking for rabbit food, so I know what I'm getting.
Then the wedge salad is for you. The wedge salad is free of bull roar. It is the basics. It is now here's the thing. If you don't like an iceberg lettuce, if you like a different kind of lettuce, a butter lettuce or something like that, you might have an issue with it. And that's fair. That's fair. You want a kale salad? This ain't your jam. But an iceberg, a fresh, still wet, dripping with water from the kitchen wedge salad. I was going to say moist, but that will turn everyone off to the salad. Your blue cheese dressing, your cheese crumbles, your bacon, tomato, onions. It can vary from restaurant, but smokehouse is just the basics. It's smothered in the dressing, but you get to choose. I'm telling you, it's a salad of agency. It's a salad of choice. It is the basics deconstructed in front of you on your plate.
It sounds like a salad of work. I have to cut. There's a big thing to deal with. I respect it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, okay. I'm an equal opportunity food lover. I'm always here for the food talk. Bun integrity is very important. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
Bun integrity. You got to have bun integrity. Okay, but okay. When it comes to food debates, if I can't, it's hard to sell each other on food ideas. If someone calls up and tells me In-N-Out is a great burger, you're never going to convince me of that. But if In-N-Out is a great burger for you, it's a great burger for you. So I get it. I'll make my steak. I'll claim my wedge salad as my favorite salad, but I can't make you love it, Steve.
I respect it. It's okay. So, I mean, that wasn't even originally what I was gonna, when I was planning to call.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
You did a pretty good job though on the sell. I did the other question just randomly that I had before. I didn't have as many sports takes, but I got a couple. What's your go-to hangover cure or method? Because if we have too many Del Taco references before the end of the stream, we might need help.
No. I don't. No, I don't do a Del Taco for breakfast. No.
Not for breakfast. Hangover cure. What is it? What is your go-to?
Well, but that's why I mentioned it, because for me, if I have too much whiskey and it's that kind of day, I do need to go get the grease and water. I take, and some people, medical professionals will say, "Oh dear God, don't do this." But if I know I'm at the Comedy Store and I get dropped off at home and I've had a bit too much, again, rum is different, fine. But if I've let my guard down and had too much whiskey, I will pop I'll say 5 to not scare anybody, 5 ibuprofens before I go to bed. And people will be like, "Oh, don't do that. Your liver, you can." Got it. It helps me. Water, ibuprofen. But if I wake up and I'm feeling boop, I gotta go to a diner. There's a lot of not a diner, but I'll order something. I'll order a big giant omelet. I will order the eggs, the cheese, the grease, the toast. It's got to be the food.
See, the thing for the food that's always been tough for me is that hangover nausea makes it like the last thing I want to do is eat, and you have to ignore it. You have to fight through it. You have to. Yep. You have to tell yourself that's not real. As soon as you get that first bite of greasy bacon, it just goes away. It's kind of magical.
Are you hallucinating, Steve, when you're having this food, or you're like, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real?
No, up until just because you want to, you have to tell yourself, no, as much as I don't want to smell this right now, I know as soon as I start eating, I'm going to feel better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that's what I do, and it's been a while. I joke and I'm having a drink now, but I didn't start drinking until I was 26, and I had a couple times where I'm like, I'm going to tie one on. I try not to do that. When I'm approaching 50, I can't do that anymore. But if I do, that's what I do. It is grease. Grease is the secret, Steve.
Yes, grease. That's so I've heard. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate your.
You got it, Steve. You got a couple of sports hot takes before I let you go.
Yeah, well, no. See, I was thinking about a few, and I didn't have a good list down, so I'm gonna leave you with just the one. I think a lot of golfers are better athletes than a lot of first basemen.
You're not wrong, especially the modern day golfer. Tiger, when he got cut, buff, Tiger was
better than a lot of outfielders. Come on.
Absolutely. But like I'd put John Daly at first base now over like a Bob Hamlin, Chris Chambliss in his final years in Atlanta. Like I think John Kruk, I think Daly could beat Kruk in a rundown.
Oh, agreed. Well, thanks, Ken. I appreciate you having me. Thanks,
Steve.
Great show.
Thanks for making it so fun. Steve calling in there. I'm going to jump right to this next call here because I saw in chat while she was waiting to get in here, she had a bit of a talk on where was that comment? There you go. Ventress 87 says wedge salad. You mean crunchy water? Ventress, you're on the. Explain yourself, Rachel. Explain yourself. You there? Let me try to bring her into there. Rachel, can you're on here live. Maybe she stepped outside. All right, I'm gonna leave the phone on, and Rachel, come on back in, and get on this call. And she says audio issues. That's okay, Rachel. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna remove you. You get back in. You get in chat, and you tell me that you're okay and ready to go. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna get you in here. I don't know what to do with this wedge salad hate. I can take the hate on anything else, and salads are very personal. But people will tell you, Grace will tell you. Joseph Scrimshaw has seen me next to Grace. Joseph Scrimshaw has seen me eat the most wedge salads of any human on the planet, and he knows the joy it brings. All right, we got a super chat coming in. Thank you, Cali Kid. Appreciate that. And Steve says no hate. I just need to understand. Steve, perfect. You handled it perfectly. You're a gentleman. What, Cali Kid? What is the most interesting celebrity encounter out in the wild? For example, maybe you bumped into Chris Pine at Target in the Star Wars aisle. Okay. Ventress says I think we're good. All right. So I'm going to answer this question. Ventress, can you hear me? Are you in there?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So hang on just a second. I'm going to finish this question. And I'm going to get to your hate on the wedge salad. My most random, I've told this story before, but it's 100% true. Now, I worked at the farmer's market, 3rd and Fairfax. I was the security director there. It's the heart of Hollywood, next to the Grove. I have spoken with Britney Spears. I have spoken with Paris Hilton. I ran into Tim Meadows a lot. Tom Cruise used to be there. John Malkovich used to be a friend of my former girlfriend. She worked at the coffee shop. Malkovich would just come hang out to talk to her in the most innocent. He just would tell her about his life, and his kid got a tattoo, and and he wouldn't talk to anyone else. So I've been around a lot of weird, out of the blue celebrity encounters. But at the Whole Foods at 3rd and Fairfax, across the street after work one day, my girlfriend at the time, her dad, and her brother, we were getting some food. We're in line, and I'm in line at Whole Foods, and playing on the music system is Mickey. Hey, Mickey, you're so fine, your mobile mind. Hey, Mickey, that song by Tony Basil. I look, and in front of me is Tony Basil. And I'm not staring, I'm not looking, but I just kind of had this no. And then she turns around, we make eye contact, and she kind of, in a very fun, playful way, like rolls her eyes. And I just smiled, didn't say anything. She turned around. I didn't know pictures, no nothing. And I almost feel like people don't believe me. But that is the greatest and most wildest, out in the wild, absurd celebrity encounter I can report back to you all there. So Ventress, Rachel, Ventress87, it's a great username. You're on live. You're here. Weird celebrity encounters, number 1, and Wedge Salad, and then whatever question you have. Where you go?
Weird celebrity encounters. Okay. When I worked for Borders, I lived probably about an hour outside of where Adrian Brody owned property in upstate New York.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was chit-chatting with some of my coworkers, and there was a customer standing off to the side, like waiting for the conversation to end, which anyone who works retail knows that that's not normal.
Right.
They're just gonna barge in. And I looked at him and I'm like, can I help you find something? And as soon as I heard him speak and he lifted up his head, and under the baseball hat, I could see that beautiful, beautiful crooked nose. And he asked where the local section was. I literally could not form a sentence. I was so starstruck. Yeah, exactly. And my coworker who didn't recognize him was like, local section right this way. And I'm like, oh no, like that was the only I was devastated. It was one of those things I'm like, I could have helped him, I could have talked to him, and nope, just literal but but
you know, that crooked nose is in your face, and plus it's out of context. You're not, if you're in Hollywood or you're in New York City or something, you might, oh, look, it's so and so. But
I live
in your own domain
in Syracuse, New York, and in what world are you going to run into Adrian Brody at the bookstore at the mall that you work at? Was not on my list.
I love that. Love that. That's a great tale. Love that there. All right, so I know you might have a question or thought.
It's crunchy water, Ken.
It's crunchy water. Hit me with this wedge salad take.
I'm not gonna say hate.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. I respect you.
But that is what it is. If you are a fan of celery with nothing on it by itself, you go by all means go find a wedge salad. If you like blue cheese, that ugh.
I don't. Okay, I look. Blue cheese is not my favorite dressing. I'll say that right now. Ranch, Thousand Island, balsamic's actually one of my favorite. But wedge salad, it brings something out of me. So if you don't like blue cheese, totally get that. Totally get that. You could probably do it with a ranch. No, I hear you. Look, the celery comparison is interesting.
Ranch dressing by putting it on a wedge salad.
I would not suggest, ma'am. I would, ma'am, calm down. Take a step back, ma'am. Calm down. But I respect it. I respect the celery connection, but I like celery. I like celery with peanut butter. I'm a celery peanut butter kid.
Celery, peanut butter, little raisins, ants on a log, little afternoon snack. Absolutely.
My friend Jen Miro says I absolutely love a wedge salad. That's why she's Jen. But I don't need wedge salad love all around. I'm just curious. All right, I'm gonna get to some celebrity encounters in chat here, and then Ventress, I want to hear what you have to say. Laserbolt says, on an airplane, I once sat next to the guy who played Klinger on MASH, Jamie Farr, plane sliding. That's a great one there. Ranger Donald says, I went on a roller coaster with Mick Foley. Love to know that one. Or Vermont Mike says, ran into Luis Guzman at a Best Buy here in Vermont. We were looking at movies. Oh my God, that rivals the Adrian Brody Borders connection. You're at a Best Buy in Vermont, and of all people, Luis Guzman's there. Oh my God, that is a great one there. Alan Smithy asked this question too. Alan says, all this salad talk makes me curious. Are jalapeno poppers considered vegetables? If so, let's eat a lot of vegetables. It's close enough. I think you're okay. I think you're okay with that. It's going to work out well for you, Alan, in the end. Ventress, what question do you got, or what thought starter? What is on your mind other than wedge salads tonight?
Well, just real quick on the jalapeno poppers. I think legally it is a vegetable, but it makes me think of the quote, you might not have violated the letter of the law, but you violated its spirit.
Okay.
But yeah, so my question for you is, I was wondering, outside of Star Wars and Game of Thrones, which love listening to all your recaps, House of the Dragon coming back in June. Yay. What are you most excited about that's being released or rebooted or created, either movie, TV show, comic book? Like what's getting you excited right now?
That's a great question. I think I am slightly dubious, but I trust I trust all the folks involved. But I'm a big, as a lot of people are, a big Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap fan, and I know they're working on Spinal Tap 2. Rob Reiner, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer, and who knows who else coming back. And I'm definitely excited about that. I'm definitely interested. I hope it kind of reinvigorates the mockumentary genre, even though Christopher Guest will tell you that's an insulting name for the genre. I'm a big fan of Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, Mighty Wind. His other series, or there's other one, the Mascots one, did not work for me as well. It just didn't hit as big, but I have to rewatch it. But I love it. I should have been cast in every one of those. I wish I was in LA at the time when they're making some of them early on. Like that, I am built for that. I love doing that kind of stuff. I've shot a lot of those on my own independently that no one's ever seen. So I think this is Spinal Tap. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah, Mascots. I couldn't. I finished it, but I wasn't happy about it.
Right. It just, I don't know what it lacked. I don't know what it lacked. I have to revisit it, but it didn't click for me.
Yeah, and it probably didn't help that I watched it like right after A Mighty Wind, because I'm like, oh yeah, I want more, and it just
because Mighty Wind. I want to talk about Mighty Wind for a second. For those who are not familiar, Christopher Guest, so great actor, Princess Bride, SNL for a while. Just I think a genius in his own world and his own mind. Sometimes he's a very interesting kind of cranky curmudge. He. Best in Show is probably the best of that genre outside of Spinal Tap. But Waiting for Guffman's so great. Mighty Wind, at the time I remember the talk, and this was before YouTube movie shows and podcasts and stuff. It seemed to be a bit of a disappointment coming off of Best in Show. But I think it is. Oh, and by the way, I like For Your Consideration. I think that one is good as well. They twisted the genre a little bit there. They twisted the style. But I like that a lot. But Mighty Wind is so sweet. It's emotional. It moves me. I really love Mighty Wind.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is. There aren't many perfect films, and that will be argued, in different forums. But it's so good.
And look, and for those, I love that Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy getting discovered by newer generations with Schitt's Creek. As they should be. Like I know it's kind of, we can all roll our eyes if we're a little older at did you know the mom from Home Alone is in Schitt's Creek? I totally get it. Like I get it. But that's what happens. We all experience that at certain points in our lives. But if you could rediscover, they are full display in those films, either working together or opposite each other. Fred Willard and Catherine O'Hara and Waiting for Guffman is just comedy gold, and the late great Fred Willard is pitch perfect in anything he ever does and has done. But yeah, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara in Mighty Wind. It's so good, so sweet.
It's rare to see two people work so well together on film, and watching them in Mighty Wind, and again Schitt's Creek. I didn't watch it when it was airing, but going back and rewatching it and streaming, it was it's. Every Christmas, same thing. I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, how many times are you going to see I didn't know the woman from Schitt's Creek was the mom from Home Alone.
Yeah.
But as someone that's officially old enough that the sitcoms that I watched as they were airing, or now Nick at Night.
Yeah,
I mean,
but look.
good.
I didn't, I didn't know Mickey from Rocky was in Batman. Like, it happens. I think we forget it. I think the older you get, you forget that at one point you learned new things too.
Yes.
I call it the pop culture awakening year. I think we all have a year where you kind of transition from you're a kid and you're aware of things and you're watching cartoons, but it's happening in front of you, and then everything else is the past. And then there comes a year where you are in pop culture. You're experiencing it and understanding it. And for me, that was 1987. I always say that was the year where baseball and Saturday Night Live and all these things I started watching. I was about 11, 12 years old. And like, that's my pop culture awakening year. And that's the time where you realize, oh, I didn't know so-and-so was in this and that. And, it happens. It happens. All right. Ventress. Yes, final thoughts. Yes.
Last question.
Yes.
I did not catch you when you were in DC on your first stand-up tour to DC. When you coming back?
In Vermont, Mike and Chet says Cobra Commander equaling Starscream blew my mind as a kid. Yeah. You know what? I almost would want to annoy Mark Ellis and call him right now. I don't think we have anything on the books for this year. But we don't like to get too far away from DC for too long. So if we don't do it this fall, I'm sure we'll be back in 2025. I hate to take that long. It's one of my favorite cities in America. Dare I say the world? I just haven't traveled the world. It's too wide to make that claim seriously. But I think the venue, where the comedy club, the DC comedy club that we're at, I don't think that's where we'll be next time. So I think we're trying to work out where. But please stay tuned, and we'll love to get back out there.
Will do. All right. Thanks for taking my call, Ken.
All right. There you go. Rachel, but also we know her as Ventress, and that is a great call there. I have one more call lined up. If you want to call in, I'm on for a couple more minutes here, then I got to get to work. That's what we're doing here. If you want to support the show, there's a lot of ways to do it. If you want to call in, become a YouTube channel member, or Patreon support at patreon.com/KenNapzok. If you get on the Patreon page, you can get access to the Young Guns movie commentary. It's me, Whiskey, and the movie Young Guns, one of my favorite movies of all time. Going to do Young Guns 2 later this month or early next month. And you can also get it on the shop at my Patreon page if you want as well. Speaking of shops, I have extended the going out of business sale, so to speak, with Why We Love Star Wars. If you want a personalized copy of Why We Love Star Wars, supplies might not be lasting. So get over to my website at kennapzok.com, click that shop button. There's those other things up there as well that I'm adding as I'm going through my storage and saying, maybe it's time to part with some of the things. But one man's trash could be another person's gold. So check that out there. All right, we're not quite done here yet. And we got more in this. Adam Witt says, blew my mind when I found out Casey Kasem was Shaggy and Robin. Yeah. Absolutely. Look, Aaron says I already have one. All right, well then get on, Aaron, then go to my webpage, go to the shop, and buy the very rare CM Punk Funko Pop. All right? It's a grown man in his underpants in doll form. Buy it. Thomas the Tall says, I'm going to need some copies of your book for the shop, amigo. Well, Thomas the Tall, now's the time to talk to me about that because supplies are going. Reach out, and Thomas the Tall. I'll make it happen. Okay. Ranger Donald says, I didn't know Luke Skywalker was also the Joker. This next caller, it is his birthday. I think he's turning 40 today. It's a big day, so I'm going to bring him on. But last week he called in, and he said some words that we try to, I don't mind being a little randy on the blathering. But I will say to all of you, too, thanks for the super chats tonight. Thanks for any support on the PayPal donations or anything, or the Twitch. I don't think I've missed any bits or anything on the Twitch side. Every week, I'll just tell you what I go through. Every week, this video gets demonetized after I go live, and then I have to petition, and then someone reviews it, and they go, oh, that's right, you're not a monster, you're good. But they always wait till the views of the show kind of wind down. So as I'm trying to not only grow this channel, grow this show, and keep myself afloat, I try not to demonetize. So all that try not to get this demonetized. All that to say, I'm going to bring this caller on, but I'm going to have him wash his mouth out with soap. But it's his birthday, And Jake Iacovetta, you scoundrel, happy birthday.
Well, I appreciate it. I will not demonetize you today.
Thank you. I realized last week, Jake, the problem was I brought you on with Johnny M from Long Island, and I know you hate Johnny M from Long Island.
Well, I did spend a good 20 minutes of my birthday today listening to him not knowing how to open a window.
Look, that bat scared everyone involved. That's all. The bat was a problem. Jake,
it is what it is. Long-time listener, first-time caller. That's how you do it, Adam Witt.
That's great. Witt's the best. Adam Witt's the best. What are you doing? Your birthday might be winding down here based on time zones, Jake. But how did you celebrate? What is your thoughts? Where are you at with 40?
I got some takeout from Buffalo Wild Wings.
You're a goddamn hero.
Did not go. You just cussed, man.
I'm fine with that. You dropped MFer. The MFer's the problem.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you ordered some takeout.
Yeah, I didn't go to Del Taco, obviously.
I know you don't like Del Taco. There are also not a lot of Del Tacos around you.
No, there's actually none around me. There used to be one like 20 minutes away, and it closed down after like 10 months because people just weren't going there.
See, there's some Del Taco biases and there's some Del Tacoism going on in your town.
It's Alabama, man. I mean,
yeah.
Everything here is messed up. I'll say messed up.
But we love people all around the world. Do you need what's on your mind? What's your question? Or Jake, do you just need comfort and advice for turning 40?
Well, you are my comfort, Ken.
You made me choke on pineapple juice. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Okay.
That's actually horrible because John Mariano in my phone is saved as Johnny Pineapples. So when you said pineapple juice, it just went to a whole new.
Without getting to wing humor, why is John Mariano, Johnny M from Long Island, named Johnny Pineapple in your phone? Do I want to know?
I think it has something to do with pineapple on pizza. Something like that.
Well, I love that too. So maybe Johnny M and I are meant to be together. Meant to be together.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I need to go.
All right, Jake, what's on your mind? I'm wrapping up the show. What do you got?
Wrap up the show, brother. I'm just here to say hi. I've been here hanging out.
Jake, I'll tell you this.
Some unfortunate people. Wedge salad, that's fucking stupid. So sorry if that gets you demonetized. But
there you go. Oh, that's your birthday gift to me. Look, all right. Look, that aside, Jake, I want to say something sincerely. You are a gentleman. You are a very nice soul.
Am I?
In your own way. And I want to say, I got to say something in celebration of your birthday. The movie Trivia Schmodown, you did so much for not just the support of the show, but the support of the individuals. There's so many people that have counted on you as not just a dedicated listener, but someone who has been there for them in tough times, someone who's been generous with your donations and your time and your love and your passion. And I want you to focus on that for your birthday. Age is just a number, but who you are inside matters. And Jake, you've mattered to a lot of folks, including myself, for the year. So happy birthday to you, buddy. I mean that.
I appreciate that, man. I love you, dude.
Love you, Jake Iacovetta. All right. Happy birthday to Jake. I'm going to let you go. We got another call lined up here soon, but I want to get to some not super chats, just some pegged, pinned questions. Not pegged. That's a different book. Aaron would write that book. Rich T says, Ken, I've been watching Jerry Seinfeld interviews. He's like a comedy scientist, very analytical with jokes. He wonders why a joke is funny or not. As a stand-up comedian, are you like that? And then Rich T follows up, did you watch the Tom Brady roast? I did not watch the Tom Brady roast. How do I say this without causing the kind of one of the main roast masters. He's known as a roast master around town, and he is very funny. I would say not to the kind of gentleman I want to support or be around. Unfortunately, he's got some things in his past that should raise some eyebrows. That's all I'll say. So I did not watch that roast. But in terms of the Jerry Seinfeld thing, now we did 2 weeks ago, we did have a lot of, on 20 Minutes of Coffee, I talked for about 50 minutes about Jerry's recent comments that I think are incorrect about woke being a problem and that the left has ruined comedy. All that stuff is just wrong. And a lot of what he's talking about is just corporate studios, capitalism, and quite frankly, the most censorship in the history of comedy has come from what many would call the right. Not to divide it up right or left, but the self-righteous. And that can come from any political party, quite frankly. But the history is showing that to be the case. But I also need, and in that conversation I had with those watching live on 20 Minutes of Coffee or myself, Jerry is still one of the greatest comics of all time. And Jerry Seinfeld was someone who was influential on how I form my opinions on comedy. And Jerry on Alan King's Inside the Comedy Mind, which was Alan King was the late great Alan King was an old school kind of Catskills kind of comic that came up. But by the time late 80s, early 90s, that range, he had a show on Comedy Central called Alan King's Inside the Comedy Mind, and it was a sit down, long form interview. And you know, before podcasts, before all that, Alan King was doing it. And Roy Firestone on ESPN, quite frankly, they are on around the same time. There's a great interview with Jerry Seinfeld back in the day. During the Seinfeld, I think the sitcom had been going for maybe a couple of years when I saw it. And Jerry described being, he says that he was not a class clown. And I was not a class clown either. And some comics are. I think there's a lot of comics, certain genre of comics who might be the class clowns. And I think you can tell who they are. And I think you can tell what podcast in Austin, Texas they appear on a lot. But most other comics are not class clowns. And Jerry Seinfeld had this great thing of like comics are not class clowns. He's like, I wasn't a class clown. I sat in the back of the room watching the class clown and wondering how he could do what he did, what worked. And then if I said something funny, and he had this great moment, the class clown will say something funny and people will laugh. It's a personality thing. It's a cult of personality thing. And the class clown moves on with his life, moves on with his day. He makes the class laugh or entertains them or whatever is so loud that they can't ignore him, and he moves on. He goes, I, though, as a comic and a comic mind, I will spend months wondering how that joke worked, how that moment worked, what made it happen. I myself identified with that. I don't spend a lot of time doing that. I don't spend months doing it. But there is a method to the madness, and there is a science to it. There is an art to jokes, and there's different ways to do it. And a lot of times when it works for me, I actually don't think about it. But when it doesn't work for me, I spend a lot of time thinking about it. A lot of time thinking, almost to the point I always joke, I'd probably drive Mark Ellis crazy because on plane flights back, I'll be like, that one set I had, I didn't hear it. Mark's more like, just, hey, press on. Throw the ball down the field the next time. So I really love where Jerry Seinfeld came from on that. And I do think he's that. I'm more of a Steve Martin guy. Steve Martin was trying to deconstruct stand-up comedy, and he did so very successfully. Seinfeld was observation. So it works. And all things say, that's why Jerry's comments are disappointing to me. Because he acknowledges that comedy changes. And we went and check out that episode. I go into the details of it. I really, want people to pay attention. I don't want people just to react to the headlines. He said some dumb things, but he said some smart things about stand-up comedy, how it works, and that you are judged in the moment, which is Jerry acknowledging that there's things that shouldn't be said or things that don't work and that the audience will let you know right away. So he acknowledges that comedy does change while blaming things that really have no effect on comedy because it's just comedy changing. As I've said, if comedy did not evolve, we would still have performers in blackface on stage making a lot of money. Comedy changes. The times change. You got to find your way through that. I've changed as a performer. Going back 15, 20 years ago. We all have. You should. So anyways, all that to say, Joey Bean says, what I've learned about comedy, if it makes me think, it's funny. Or you put an arrow through your head. But that's the thing about the Steve Martin stuff. Steve Martin struggled to find his voice for years as a magician turned comic. And then he had some success, but he still wasn't being successful in the way he wanted to. And then he finally clicked in, and that documentary on Apple TV, Steve, with an exclamation point, I highly recommend it. He talks about realizing he wasn't making fun of stand-up comedy because he was a stand-up. He wasn't doing parody. He wasn't even doing satire of comedy. But he was deconstructing what comedy could be and what the audience was expecting. Not unlike Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman did that. I don't know if all the things Andy did would stand up to the scrutiny of time, but Andy was a genius I'm a big fan of because he was challenging the expectations. Steve was doing that as well. It wasn't as simple as it looked. Steve has often said, all my friends are doing political jokes and Nixon jokes. I wanted to do something different. I put an arrow in my head. That really dumbs down what he did. I think that's the way to kind of look at it too. And a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now, I'm really happy with my comedy in the last couple of months because I did have some bad sets at the end of December in Seattle. Wasn't if you saw me at the comedy/bar in December, I did not have great sets. It was not the audience's fault. I had some things going on in my head, some things going on in my life, and I let it dominate. And I got scared, and I didn't have good sets. I didn't have bad sets. I didn't have good sets. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And since then, I've it's not just about an improvement. I've become a different performer on stage. And I've locked into, I think, what I want my voice to be. And it's just taken 48 years. It's just taken 25 years of performing. Just that. So I'm excited. I love talking comedy, but I don't want to bore anyone out. Aaron says, I'll have to check it out. I have to check it out. I love Steve Martin. There you go. Rich T says, I heard his comments too. Then listened to the full interview. That comment came from. The part was edited a little bit. He said it, but it wasn't presented in full context. And I agree with that too, though. And Rich says, I agree with you, though. And Rich adds, I want to make sure I get all Rich's thoughts out there. I don't think he should have said that. Even within context, he was more so alluding to TV. He said stand-up comic stuff, freedom. Yeah. And I encourage that too. And I think the headlines were really wrong. And Jerry also put out a weird movie that a lot of people aren't liking, and it's a weird time, and it's almost like he was couching the movie. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Rich. I think maybe because I have historically loved Jerry a lot, but Jerry's been this guy for a bit. Jerry's kind of a prick. Jerry's kind of arrogant, kind of, and there's some things in his past that a lot of people are aware of, dating-wise. My question, but outside of that, I've been a fan of Jerry for years, and I think he's very smart, very intelligent. And I don't think everything he was saying was wrong, especially stuff about movie studios and executives who aren't creative. That's very much true. But anyways, Rich, love the thought. All right, final call of the night here. They've been waiting patiently here. And then they said, well said in comments, so I want to have them on. But 8984M, Brady, how are you?
Hello.
How
are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. We could just do this all day. Boring conversation anyways. No, I'm good.
I don't know how to follow up with what you just said. That was very well said. Wow.
It's you. Just follow up with you. Your personality wins the day.
You know, I admire like what performers do a lot, you know. I have massive stage fright, and I don't know how you can make a career out of that. And just
I'll tell you why. 8984M. Because all of us performers are convinced that we're horrible, so we have to get on stage to prove that we're not. And it doesn't mean we're not afraid. I have a great gig tomorrow night. We talked about at the top of the show, Jeff May. It's in a toy store. But it's an intimidating room because it's not a comedy stage. It's all flat level, and there's bright lights. No one, you can't hide from anyone. You're on the hot spot. You're in front of everyone, and it gets in my head a little bit. So don't feel bad for having a little stage fright.
Yeah. My only context is like when I was in high school, I played instruments, right? And yeah, the minute right before you step on stage, my fingers are trembling, and the instrument, you have to use your fingers a lot, and I can barely move my fingers.
Well, first of all, what instrument did you play?
Oh, it's one of the nerdier instruments, the clarinet.
God bless you.
I think there's a comedian in LA who makes jokes about playing the clarinet a lot.
It's probably what a dumb comedian would do. I get you. So anytime you play, your fingers will lock up, heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Going.
Yeah, I mean, my heartbeat is kind of going right now because
you're doing great though. There's no camera, just your voice. You got a wonderful, smooth, relaxing voice. Don't worry about it. You're in a tight. And by the way, if Joey Beans or Laserbolt in chat, gets out of hand and starts coming after you, we'll protect you.
Nah, I don't think they're like that. Yeah.
You don't know Joey Beans like I do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you never know. Also, it doesn't help that I drink a lot of coffee and caffeine, so maybe
that. Yeah.
Yeah, my drink right now is a black tea iced tea.
Oh, you're a Mark Ellis man. He loves his unsweetened black eyed teas. Aaron plays poorly. Checking in on Twitch says you're doing great. I always get nervous doing this stuff too. Yeah, I can't get Aaron to call into the show. I want her to come in here and talk about writing her romance novels and her novels and everything. She won't do it. Rich T says you got this. Lauren Roma says you're doing amazing. See, look at that. You got so much support here. You're doing great. Okay. You called great last time.
Makes it feel good. Yeah.
What's on your mind? Do you have a specific question? As we, you're my last call of the night, so this is big. You're taking it home.
Yeah. So I'm a Force Center listener, so of course I'm going to bring this to Star Wars.
God bless you.
Yeah. So just watching the Phantom Menace recently. I don't know if it's just me getting older. I guess I'm about the same age as the Phantom Menace too. So
okay,
same month.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of realized little Anakin. He is such a good kid. Like he offers them shelter. He puts his life on the line to help them out of their situation, and he wants nothing in return. And I used to
I have said this over the years on Force Center that Jake Lloyd helped establish the template for what is Darth Vader's heart. For what is inside the Anakin Skywalker of it all. Are there some wizards and some yippies that aren't smooth? Yeah, absolutely. And look, I like that wizards become a thing, and Kitster says it, and Din Djarin says it. There's some moments that I know don't work, and it hasn't changed from 1999 till now. But I think people need to focus on some of the scenes. The dinner table scene. It's the heart of Anakin. Padme says there's still good in him. Shmi has raised him to help others. That connects directly to Episode 9. There's more of us, Poe. There's more of us, Poe. There's the problem in this galaxy is no one helps each other. Is central and key to Star Wars. Phantom Menace is a movie about symbiosis. It is a movie about helping others. It's a movie about connection, community, empathy, which is at the heart of almost every Star Wars story. Jake Lloyd nailed those scenes. And Jake Lloyd has gone on to have his own battles. A lot of it have nothing to do with Star Wars or the fandom, just his own things going on. His mother has recently said, Star Wars stuff didn't bother him as much. We'll see. There's some documented things and interviews that he was a part of that you could tell it was maybe getting to him. But he battled so many other things. But I hope he one day feels that he wants to or is well enough and is interested in returning to the Star Wars world as in terms of conventions, appearances, interviews. I think he'd get his due now. What you're talking about is big in my Star Wars fandom, that the heart of Vader, the character that finds redemption at the end of Episode 6 was built in Episode 1. In terms of that storyline, we obviously see the other stuff first in 77, 80, 83. But I give Jake Lloyd all that credit. So I love that you bring that up. And you're not young. You're right. You're perfect. You're perfect. You're Phantom Menace age.
Yeah, Phantom Menace age. Yeah, and I just realized this in this coming out of the screening, I think, on Saturday. I was thinking, like, wow, all the characters who saw him in his home, like who saw the real Anakin, they all passed away by the time he turned. Yeah. And I think Padme could have turned him back, but then Obi-Wan just got in the way.
Yeah. Well, it's the beauty of that. One of the final frames in Phantom Menace is at Qui-Gon's funeral. It is Anakin, it is Obi-Wan, it is Padme, it is Palpatine, and one by one, over the course of the next couple films, Palpatine removes those people from his life, and it's now just him and Anakin, and that matches up with that final shot in Revenge of the Sith. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, Palpatine,
goddamn Palpatine. Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. 8984M, my favorite username to say.
I apologize. I'll apologize every time.
No, don't. No, see, you're doing it. You're getting the stage fright. There's no apologies. We always said your actual name. I'm going to struggle to say, right? Kyrie, right? Kate Kyrie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Close. That's like 80% close, right? Or give me 20%.
That's actually 99%.
99 Kyrie. Okay, but see, 8984M is musical. It's a song lyric in my mouth, and I appreciate it there. And I appreciate your call. All right. Are you going to do it again? You're going to do it with confidence because you've got wonderful calls.
Yeah. Okay, you put me on the spot now.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. 8984M. Thanks for calling in. I look forward to your future calls. I'll let you go as I start to wrap up the show. But thank you, and be you, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Brady calling in. Kyrie. Laserbolt says, that super, quote, nervous feeling always gives me a good high when it's over. Yeah, there's something about that, too. The people ask, do I still get nervous before going on stage? Yeah, absolutely. You draw from it. It's you want to control it. It's the adrenaline. It's an awareness that you're in a situation that requires a higher alerted state from you, and I like it there. Rich T says before long, 8984M will be hosting these things. All right, I'm going to go. Tonight I told myself I'm only going to do a 90-minute show, but we hit the 2-hour mark, so it's time for me to go. I got to get some writing done. I got to have some dinner. I got to tend to some chihuahuas and check in with life. I appreciate you all hanging out. I appreciate you all watching. Tell people about what we do here. Tell the world. The Blathering Live is a great, fun hangout. It's an AM radio talk show for a modern age. I appreciate all of you. Wonderful stuff indeed. Housekeeping. We already put enough housekeeping out there. Check the links down below for places you want to support. And stay tuned. If you go to my website, hopefully I've updated stand-up comedy news and information soon. All right. That's it. We'll see you next time right here in the Blathering. Bye.